Oh, shoot. Deb, if you're listening, this showing my destination to Facebook is error. So you might have to also share it to my Facebook. I don't know why it was good beforehand, but we're rolling now, so I don't have time to look at it. So, Deb, if you're listening, please share it to my Facebook page, then over to Chad's. It'll be on YouTube, obviously. I don't know why. We'll have to look at that later on. But this is a cool moment, man. I'm sitting here with Chad Lohrenz, a Lincoln native, and this is kind of a pretty decent honor for me. And he had a band back in the day. I don't want to get into it too much, but how I met the guy, he probably doesn't remember me from back then, but saw his band Shield play a few times, a heavy metal band, mid 90s in Lincoln. In my humble opinion, still put out and has the best album in Logan County, in my opinion, when it comes to metal. And there's been a lot of years in between since then. And that's how I first met him, and was pretty influenced by him. And it's pretty cool sitting down with him today to hear his story, his testimony, talking about sobriety and what this journey's been for the last year. And I'll let him explain exactly how much clean and sober time he's got. And it's just an honor to sit down with you, Chad. Thanks for taking the time, man. And I know you work a ton, and just appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man. I'm glad you had me. I'm always trying to, in my own subtle ways. I know people are watching, and people reach out. Hey, man, keep doing what you're doing. I'm trying to get sober too, but or something where they can't come right out and put that out in public, and I'm always, and I check up on them, whatever. And, one thing, a lot of people get steered, like they don't want to overdo it or whatever. Fuck that. Get on there and just preach what you got to say, because people are listening. And that doesn't matter if it's business, the products you're pushing. You get tired of looking at me all the time with my stuff. I really don't care, because there's somebody there that's digging it, and that's my, but anyway, yeah.
There's nothing negative about it. It's just, right. If some people, when you make a change and you start doing some stuff and you keep chasing your passions and stuff you're interested in with your creative side, and then all of a sudden you don't party no more, and you're just being that responsible adult. Some people can't stand that. And I'm just like, well, that's probably because they're kind of not where they want to be either. It's for them just as much as the person that's supporting you, though. And that's ultimately why you do it. You do it for both. But you take your compliments when you can, and the rest is just like, I'm sleeping good at night, so sorry.
Hey, you know what? You just look at it in the opposite. So, nowadays a kid can get a mohawk and go to school. But when we were kids, you get a mohawk, you're getting kicked out. Or, oh, you don't like that blue mohawk? Good. I'm going to make it bluer. So it's like this. Oh, you don't like me now that I'm sober? Okay. Now I'm going to ramp it up a little bit more. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to, you're still being punk rock. That's the way I look at it. It's rebellious in a way. It's a rebellion against your old self, like, fuck you, dude. You were a loser.
I never even thought of it that way, but it is, because, for when you start out, people start out for whatever reasons, when they drink and smoke and all that, get into different friend circles, get accepted, parties, whatever it is. So your identity is kind of forming as you're partying and drinking and growing up.
Right.
Then it goes on for decades. It starts to kind of not be as fun anymore. And it's just like, am I just still partying to hang out, or am I like medicating myself at this point? And like, this is like not healthy. Like, you could party all in the 20s, like everybody could. Get them, go to work, no problem. But it takes a turn, and for us to be like, that's a lot of our lives wrapped up into that. The party scene being, the guy, attention, da 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 da. A lot of your self-esteem and confidence gets built somewhat falsely through that. Then all of a sudden be like, well, who the hell am I without any of that? Am I just as cool? Can I function? Can I maintain life?
Sure.
And the answer is yes, unequivocally. And if that's looked at as not cool, then I'd rather not be cool in the eyes of the ones who think otherwise. So,
right.
plus,
And I still got,
never could either way.
I still have plenty of my friends that are still drinkers or partiers or whatever, but they didn't necessarily need to quit or whatever. So more power to them.
Sure.
And we're still friends. I ain't coming after them like Jehovah's Witness, knocking on their door, telling them not to drink today or nothing like that. They're still my homies. One of my best friends, when I first started sober, he said, well, let me know when you get over that shit. You know, and he's just joking around with me because we're homies, whatever. But I was like, nah, dude, this is for real. I'm not, there ain't no getting over it. This is what I've chosen. This is my new life, bro. And not you or a team of horses is going to change that, you know?
I respect that. Yeah, man, we're going to get into it. I appreciate it. Just a little small talk before, so we can get some people in here. Yeah, we might have, we're both sober today, me and you. We don't have a big history with each other, but this commonality right here, I think is pretty damn cool. I respect what you're doing and how you're doing it. You know, I had to really get Christ involved in my life for my sobriety to really take hold and maintain that. I'm not shy or ashamed to admit that at all. That's just my thing. And, you know,
Damn it.
the one thing we got in common is I'm just not wanting to go back to my old life whatsoever. So
No.
Once again, I appreciate you doing this. And if you don't mind, I'm going to pray us in and then hit you with that first question and we'll get into it.
Do it, brother.
Father God, I come to you with a heart full of gratitude and in all humility. I thank you for this time that you're allowing me to have with my brother, Chad, as he's about to share his testimony and story, Lord, that I know you know every word of. He had made a decision to just go a different route, close the door on a certain part of his past, Lord, and that takes strength and guts and faith at the same time. I just ask you to guide his words tonight and let them resonate and relate to at least one person that's going to be hearing this story, and give them some hope and some encouragement to let them know that, you know, if alcohol or drugs or just a certain lifestyle, any addiction is really making their life unmanageable, Lord, that they can walk away from that, either of their own strength or through you, but they have to make that conscious decision that they no longer want that life. And I just ask that you be with Chad's friends and family coming into this new year. Everybody that's going to be watching this and listening, be with their friends and family and guide them into the new year safely and prosperously. And I thank you for everything that you've done in my life, Lord, and where you're leading me to. I say this prayer in your holy son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I didn't lose you, did I?
No.
You're kind of freezing up a little bit now and then. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm going to migrate into the other room where I'm
Okay. We'll ride with you.
I just came in here because of dogs and
How many you got, by the way?
just 2 now because I lost Jerry last month.
Oh, man, condolences.
That was my homie.
How long do you have him?
8 years. Didn't drink over that shit either.
That's a tough one. Yeah, it's kind of not ironic, but a lot of things will pop up when you're trying to do something like that, and like life throws you a bunch of curveballs that you maybe aren't ready for or think you ain't ready for.
Oh, absolutely.
You didn't test that. You would have had a reason to. Nobody would have blamed you. Hell, a lot of them would have done the same. So, but you knew you couldn't. You didn't want to.
No, didn't. No, it really doesn't even cross my mind anymore as a remedy for shit.
That's a big part of it. And it really is. You know, I tell people a lot, man, that, you know, some people need a God moment. Some people just don't want that life anymore. I mean, I respect that just the same. I don't push my stuff on anybody because I can't make anybody quit. I can't make anybody have a God moment or whatever, but right. I know what's real for me. And I always like to say, hey, my wife known me for 13 years. So if you think I'm kind of fibbing for some reason, you can run things past her. I'm not in this for money. I've made $0 and I'm never going to take $1 for sharing my story or having other people do it. I just don't like none of that stuff. This is to really help this town out. And ultimately, my number one goal is to try to have some influence and impact on my son. That's what I want ultimately. But like I shared with you earlier, it's tough for me to make that move to reach out to him and fearing that it might make some things worse. If he's not ready to talk to me and I try to force that issue, it can make things a lot worse. So I have to not rely on myself and just trust God's timing with that, and then trust whatever happens. But ultimately, that's my big reason. Other than wanting this for myself, I want that for him and to give him a chance. So thank you for sharing your story tonight with us. It might reach him and help him. You never know.
Well, and what you just said there was the key. The key word there is trust, and that's why I lean into that Edward art so much, because of how you talk to yourself and what you imagine. And no matter how extreme your imaginings are, if you're imagining that and everything, the universe will put those people and all the parts together to make that happen. That's just, even through your faith in God and Christ and all that, that's the same thing. You're gonna get there.
I'll be just positive thoughts, man. I'm not a pessimistic person anymore. I don't fear the future. I don't get in my own way. I mean, a lot of that's helped, but this is about you, man, and your story. And, I just got a ton of respect for you. Share with people how many days you got and why that's so cool for the time of year we're in right now.
Well, I'm at 362 days today, and it's pretty doggone amazing considering. Yeah. I mean, I'm the full-blown Lincolnite. Grew up just, even when I was on my skateboard and I go past the alleyway when I was like, junior high, early, can't wait to be going there, and was drinking beer by the time I was like 13 or 14. It was just, it's what we did here, bro, and if you couldn't drink 18 beers, you were a pussy, whatever. And way up until last year, you just thought you weren't even half a man if you didn't stand around and drink 10 or 12 beers a day or whatever. And then it just started getting to the point where I can remember going, because I wear a CPAP at night, and my fiance Amber, she'd be in bed and I'm trying to sneak in there after being in the garage all night and slide into bed, and I'm knocking shit over, and then she's making kind of comments here and there like, you do kind of have a little bit of a problem. And so towards the end of December last year, around this time, I started thinking about it. I'm like, man, I think I'm just going to quit, And I'd quit before in my past, but it never stuck. And then Christmas, I had a few beers like during this time last year, quite a few, whatever, but not as much. And then New Year's Eve, I wasn't going to drink. And then Amber's brother-in-law, or our brother, didn't know what really to get me for Christmas, so he got me some frozen pizzas and some Coors Light. That was my drink. So I drank beers that night, but not like an extreme amount, you know what I'm saying? Like per Chad, usual. For average Joe, they would have been hammered, slobbering on themselves. But anyway, so the next day, that night, I'm learning that my best friend's in the hospital. He's type 2 diabetic. They're going to have to cut on his toe and amputate part of his toe. I'm like, bro, that sucks. New Year's Eve, you're in the hospital. So I said, I'll be there the next day. So in the morning, I'll be there. So I get up in the morning, I get in the shower and everything, dude. And I was putting my shoes on, and I just started having this like panic attack and everything. And I'm like, man, I can't drive right now. I'm a mess, And I never touched a drink after that. I went to bed. Actually, Amber took a nap with me. I slept all day, and I felt like a complete pile of crap for not going to my buddy, So he's like, nah, bro, it's all good, of course, So I went there the next day, and he was able to get his procedure done, and he came home that day, whatever. So anyway, that was like the final nail in the coffin. It was just like, man, I'm over here dissing, someone I'm supposed to love, one of my homies, and I can't even show up, so, and, and not to mention, like you talk about your son, my son too, you get sober and you're like, now the kid's 18, he's struggling in school, and he shouldn't be, he's a genius. Man, you haven't been present. There are so many things, and that's one of the most hurtful things when you sober up, and all them no more numbing the thoughts and all these thoughts, but you just got to sit with yourself and feel it, bro. And And then guess what? There's nothing I can do about the past, but going forward. Then we had, this year was a motherfucker. I mean, we had some issues with him, slight drug related, a little bit of alcohol. We got him into a program. He was willing to do it. So we got him through that. He didn't finish high school last year, but he went back in August and was done within a month. He just graduated. All these things, those simple type of things that just happened with him this year, never would have gotten handled properly if I wouldn't have put down the bottle. And that's the bottom line. It never would have. I mean, and I'm thankful for all that, because it, like you talked about, I think you mentioned earlier, the things that you incur after going sober. I had that. We had mold in the entire house, had no idea what was going on. Well, the water heater was leaking, so it was, humidity was 1,000,000, and I had no money. My mom paid for all that shit. Remediation, blah, blah, blah. Solar business went to shit. Had to sell my 52 Chevy. Just the list goes on and on and on. Then, I mean, there's so many other things that an ordinary man would, and that's why people can't quit drinking, is because when that stuff happens, they're weak, and nothing against them, but they get weak and they go back because they can't handle it. So they're like, man, I got all this shit going on. I can't deal with it. Go. Well, I didn't do that. I just fought through it. And it wasn't easy, bro. There was days where it took everything in my power to get out of bed. There's days where I laid here and couldn't move, but I got through it. The anxiety, all the bullshit. But then, like I mentioned, my dog died, man. A month ago, everything's been going good. I'm running my dogs. I've always ran my dogs with the Jeep. And somehow little Dachshund Jerry Lee got underneath the back tire, and I ran him over and I killed him.
Oh, gosh.
5 weeks ago. And I was a mess. He was my buddy, and my whole family was a mess. But I told the universe, I said, listen, you son of a bitch, we're done. You've tested me to the nth degree. I ain't drinking no more. I ain't doing nothing. So just stop it now. And I mean, I'm done. I'm not, no more tests. I mean, because if I didn't drink over all the bullshit that I just went through in this last year,
you had to see it for yourself, though, too. I mean, it was bad enough just physically, mentally, anxiety, and all that, but other life stuff happening, things around the house and the dog. It was just like, oh, are you sure, Chad? You really, are you
well,
you have this strong?
You have this misconception, I think, that I'm going to quit drinking, everything will be cool.
I mean, that's the first step.
Money's going to fall from the sky, man.
A lot of people never think further than that. They're just like, if I just stop drinking, everything will be good. Well, then that's when everything.
Yeah. Put your seatbelt on.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you said a true statement there. A lot will keep drinking. Things will go unfixed, unchecked, unknown about, ignored. You can't ignore. Once you put that bottle down or whatever the drug or is, you start to notice everything, and that gets overwhelming quick. And you're like, well, now I just got even more of a reason to drink and drug, because you wasn't even really realizing a lot of, like, life just passing you by. Yep. You start to smell the roses, and they stink and they're withering. And most people go right back to it. It's commendable, man. And
well, I remember when I was still drinking. Of course, it wasn't that long ago, but I was, by 2 or 3 o'clock, I was thinking, all right, man, by 4:30, I'll get some drinks. I'm not real happy right now. I'm in a funk, but man, and then I'll feel good. It would get you, it's just all false, bogus happiness, for a moment.
Just a cycle, though, because that was your go-to. And you saw where it led you, and you didn't want to be there no more.
And one thing I want to kind of touch on is, like, when I lived in Phoenix for 11 years and I loved it. And of course, I met a lot of people out there. I've traveled all over the United States for work. I know people all over this country. But one of my good friends in Arizona was born and raised. His name's Jason Ballard, and he's been sober since, I don't know, let's say 1995-ish, whatever. He's my age. Long time. Started a tattoo business. Now, I mean, the guy's killing it in life. He's like a doggone movie star. So, but I remember a long time ago when I turned 30, I quit drinking for a while because I did something stupid, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. I don't need to be doing, And him and my roommate, my roommate was a big bodybuilder dude, and they were all sober. And Jason said, hey, man, after a certain amount of time, he goes, you're going to cross this line. And he said, you're going to feel like you're 18 years old again. And let me tell you right now, at 362 days, you're looking for the glory and quitting drinking. It's finally starting to come into fruition where I'm back to what I was doing, not immaturely, but what I was doing when I was 19 and 20 and things like that. Like, refurbished a guitar, I'm building skateboards, I'm building bikes, and, I'm doing reaching out for any opportunity to do anything and just trying to grind and kill it. And just always, one of my main things is struggling financially. I'm always trying to do, revenue producing activities, and whatnot. But my skateboarding and all of my stuff I build, that's just my pleasure, but, just whatever, I'm just keep busy. I'm just a whole different animal right now.
I mean, you got
a whole different vision.
You got a little bit of that lust for life back. Like, you know what I mean? And yeah, that I could definitely, I still say that to this day, like that fire coming into like the first 3, 4, 5, 6 months, even year. Like I was just always just a little bit energetic, ready to go, talkative, taking any opportunity that came, happy for once and at peace, and was able to enjoy a lot of stuff and not just look to get annoyed at whatever.
Right.
And it was because I'd let certain things control me and drag me down. I need this to feel a certain way and function. I just don't subscribe to that anymore. I really don't. Life is really what you want to make it to be. I mean, everybody has certain gifts, talents, creative minds. And if you could dive into that, I mean, it's pretty beautiful, to be honest with you. The stress.
Yeah, and I don't want to sit here and paint this picture like I don't have my days where I sit on the chair bummed, but that happens. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. But, you have, life is still life. I mean, you still, it's not all roses and whatnot. So, but I guarantee you, it's so much better to deal with it with a clean mind.
Yeah.
And being present and not just brushing it off and just getting it done, I guess.
Sure, absolutely. Let me ask this. I mean, you said, there was a time you did something stupid that kind of got you to quit drinking for a while. Well, one of the questions was, what were some times your drinking might have ended the party early, so to speak, or ruined the moment? If you care to look back on any of that.
Well, I can tell you. I'll just tell you about the 30. I lived in Phoenix, and of course, I worked at the Alibi all through the 90s. So I got to be good friends with Gumbo, the owner. I was like a son to him. He never had any kids. Well, with that, I got to know his brother Roger, who's a very successful businessman. He owns a big insurance company. And back in '99, when I first moved to Phoenix, he was having a home built out in Arizona. So I kind of watched after it for him, and I'd done other tasks for him and got paid here in Lincoln, and whatnot. And then his son actually moved in with me out in Arizona trying to find a job and whatever, that type of thing. So we had a relationship. Then the home finally gets built out in Arizona, and it's massive, so this whole family can come. And I was always invited. I was always there for the parties and, the food and the volleyball and the pool and all the stuff. I was part of the family. And one night I went, and it was like 20 minutes from Phoenix north. It was up in what's called Anthem. It's just north of Phoenix. And I went and picked his daughter up and her husband, and we went out at the bars and stuff in my neighborhood. And I continued to just get freaking stupid hammered, doing a bunch of shots, and ended up leaving the doggone bar and just driving home, and left them there. And this is back in the 90s or late 90s, and it cost them $100 to take a cab home. I mean, they're wealthy people, but that's not the point. So I completely dissed Roger, and he, you know, who was like a mentor and whatnot for me as far as business and not only that, friend, you know, and I was treated like family. And I pretty much fucked that. And he was pissed, you know, needless. I mean, if someone did that to my son in Phoenix, I'd be a little hot too. So that kind of ruined that relationship. And I quit drinking for quite a while and ended up going to, I actually was in Portland, Oregon, building a Home Depot. And all my friends that I worked with were partying, and I'd go to the bar and just drink Diet Pepsi or iced tea or Diet Coke or something, you know, and spend like $5. But then that's right, I was 29. That's what it was. I was 29. Then on my 30th birthday, I was like, all right, I'm going to have a beer because I'm no longer going to be in my 20s or whatever. And I've tried to quit other times, you know, and it's always the reason I would start drinking. It was like, you're single, you quit drinking, then you meet somebody or your friends or whatever. Well, what are they doing? They're going to be drinking. So you're like, oh, I can just have a drink because whatever. Well, it doesn't work that way. So this time I realized that, hey, man, when you quit drinking, it's all or nothing. You just got to forget that it even exists, you know, and just get a life.
Sure.
That's you know.
I mean,
because
you got more reasons.
I get annoyed with what I get annoyed with, and I know I'm wrong, but I'm just going to say it. I hate the idea that you drank all the time and you quit drinking, but you got to call yourself an alcoholic, because I guess you are always going to be an alcoholic. But I mean, that's how confident I am. I mean, there's just no way. And I understand the medical science behind it or the mental whatever. But I'm Chad Lohrenz and I'm an alcoholic. I am. You know, but it just is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, no, I get that. I was 0 for 6 trying to do it my way and all these other different ways, vicariously recover. See whatever means, but I always still kind of wanted to in the back of my mind. So I always had to introduce myself as an alcoholic and addict. So in my addict brain, that always kind of gave me an out. I'm like, well, if everybody knows I'm an alcoholic and addict, what else are they going to expect if I relapse someday? Which is really always a choice. So I got this disease. The wife, the kids, whoever can't be too mad at me because I got a disease. You know, it kicked up again. So it always created a loophole for me. And I can't do it anymore because this is killing me. These excuses and these loopholes that I want to use, there's got to be something more for me. So yeah, I don't introduce myself.
But I have a disease.
I don't do that. I don't subscribe to. I did for a while, and it cost me 6 more relapses. This time around, man, I'm a husband. You know, I'm a man of God who's trying to just do his best every day. You know, leave something better behind. That's it. You know, if I pick back up again, then probably I'd be an addict and alcoholic. But I mean, 2 years later, I'm not calling myself that. I don't want to subscribe to it. It's like how you say, what you think and talk life over yourself. Yeah. That's the direction you're going to head in. Like if somebody cheats on their wife, you don't go into the next relationship and be like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. I'm a cheater, but would you like to hang out? It
does go against everything I've been practicing, the I am. If you're saying I am an alcoholic, you're going to continue to be an alcoholic.
I agree with you. But if people feel comfortable with doing that, I mean, that's fine, because the seconds tick by for all of us the same. That's what I always say. So,
you know, one thing, just being funny, I don't understand all the coffee with those people. I tell you what, like I told you, I had to give it up because of my anxiety anyway. But they'd be drinking some coffee. But
no, I get it.
Keeps them on the straight and narrow.
I respect the no coffee thing. I'm definitely not ready to give that up. My life's manageable with it. I think I gotta keep it. Let me talk about
soldiers.
Right. Let me talk about like I said in the beginning, the music scene in the mid '90s in Lincoln, Illinois. It was Shield. That was basically it for me. There might have been who was that one guy? I can't think of what his name. He played up in the bar. Like a Steve Vai kind of person.
Rod Teeny.
Yeah.
Like Rod Teeny and the Shake.
Yeah. So I mean,
They did covers and stuff.
there's some decent bar bands
Yeah.
and stuff like that, but I'm talking when it came to metal and that scene, for
Original
me,
music.
just had gotten into Pantera, Sepultura, Biohazard, if you remember them.
Oh,
And then I
yeah.
heard about a few guys, I don't want to name them all or whatever, but there's a band called Shield. They were playing uptown. I walked in. Me and my friends were a little younger than your friends and bandmates, but I walked into that big old loft, smoky room, a couple different scents of smoke, lights going on, and I heard this song called "Manhunt." You were singing, the band was playing. It was huge to me. It was a big deal. Left a big impression on me, and I just wanted to mention that band was very influential. What are some of your best memories of those times? Looking back on it, and
Oh, man.
if it came back around, would you be interested if all the guys could get together? I mean, I just think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, that when people would mention it when I was still drinking and stuff, I was like, oh man, I don't know. Now that I'm sober, I think I could throw it down. I probably wouldn't be 55. I wouldn't be moshing around and everything. I'd have a heart attack.
Bill and
Be all I
some.
could do to get through the vocals, but because even when I was 25 years old, some of them songs, man, on stage, you were screaming so hard, your brain, your head would just pop and everything would go black, and you're basically passed out for a few seconds until you come back to. And I'm not even joking. So,
Metal.
but some of the good memories, man. I mean, was Jason Alsbrook, Danny Raffa. I grew up with, and it was two different spectrums. You got the rich kid and you got the poor kid. And Jason and I were always skaters, and we always skateboarded and everything. And we kept it, we had skate ramps and little bullshit in the studio, in the big room. And then once we moved into the front and did like the studio, where we had the little cube so we could jam.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best memories is not a beautiful thing, but it's just funny, So we're all in there jamming, laying down tracks in this little room. And I mean, it's loud as shit. You can't hear anything. And Barry Minder, as Judd put it, this dude hasn't had a vitamin in his entire life. So Barry's out there. And at the time, he was probably 52, 53 years old. We're 25, 26. Well, he's out there on my skateboard. And he's got like lineman boots on that go all the way up to his knees. And we hear like this blood curdling scream. Well, Barry ate it on the skateboard. So we all stop, we go out there and he's laying there. So we had to carry him down the stairs and get him to the hospital, and it turned out that like his ankle, it's not funny, but his ankle just like exploded, and they cut his boot off and he had surgery. So, Barry, see, how he is. And so after we get Barry all fixed up and everything, we spent the next, 4 or 5 months. Hey, man, can you get me a beer? Because he can't walk around. He's got this big old cast on. We're like, we can't wait till this old fucker heals up. But, he was like, dude was just part of it. He was, like I said before, he was the original vocalist, but he wasn't good at writing lyrics, and they wanted to be all original. So I stepped in, and then Barry became our manager, and he did a hell of a job. He really did, and he, roadie, manager, the whole shooting match. He's been in music his whole life, and the guy's a genius. You wouldn't know it, but yeah, he is. And
I've heard him karaoke whipping post at
Oh,
Flower.
yeah.
I was like, that's the
That's
first
one
time I
of
heard him sing. I'm like, damn, okay.
That's one of his favorites. And then after Shield, him and Judd and Don, what's his name? They had a band called Quest. And I have the CD. And at the time, I thought it was lame. But that Quest CD is some badass shit. And Barry wrote all the lyrics. And Barry came and he goes, see? He goes, you taught me how to write music, how to write lyrics, bro. And I'm like, well, that's badass,
Pretty cool.
because he always did cover songs. Like you just said, he did Tied to Whipping Post. He's very good at Black Sabbath, Ozzy, all that old. He was very good at Rob Zombie tunes and everything too. very good, talented person. Love him to death.
I ain't seen him in years. Hope he's doing good.
One of the, I don't know. I guess it's okay to tell stories about, partying and stuff when you're sober now. But the first gig we ever got, I'm going to tell it anyway. The first gig we ever got out of town was in Springfield. And I think it's called Bourbon Street now. It's across from Skank Skates. Little old bar there on the corner just before the underpass. And anyway, so we're in there and there's a band playing before us, and they're like more like a hippie band or whatever. So we're waiting around and we're hanging out, drinking some beers. And I had like a flannel shirt on with like the sleeves cut off or whatever, had a pocket. And all these like hippie dudes are handing out sugar cubes. And me, man, I was like, all right, these fuckers can't afford candy, so they're eating sugar cubes. And I'm just, and then it got to be the point where I was like, all right, I'll put a few in my pocket or whatever. I keep eating them, and Rafa walks up to me and he goes, hey, dude, did you get any of those sugar cubes? I go, yeah, what's up with these dudes? They can't afford candy. He goes, how many of you ate? I go, I don't know. And as soon as he asked that, I knew, So anyway, we got through the show. I don't think I went to bed for like 24, 36 hours after that. It was a trip.
You made it through them.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that was a funny one. We played at Bootleggers out on, what is that? Toronto Road out there, out south of Springfield all the time.
Ever play Veely's?
Yeah, Veely's. Yeah, we did. I forgot about that. Veely's playing it. We did a huge deal at this amphitheater called Ted's Cabin or something. And it was kind of, I don't remember where it was. It was an outdoor amphitheater kind of down south, maybe towards St. Louis or something. I can't remember. But it was massive. And, we're like, whoa. And, I'm not uncomfortable in front of people, but dude, there was like 2,000 people out there. And I was like, whoa. And that kind of freaked me out for a minute. And I probably didn't put on the best show like I normally would for 50 people in Springfield. But we got through it. I mean, I'm just admitting I was nervous as shit. And that was a crazy venue. I think that death metal band, now I can't, Avail, is that right? They're out of
Yeah.
I think they were the headliner. But that was a lot of fun. And, of course, we did Jason Jones's 21st birthday. That was a big one. There was a lot of people out there.
Wow.
I get that all the time. People, oh man, I remember you at Jizz's party. And I'm like, oh, wow. And they're like these younger, young people that.
I wonder if he remembers these days.
Oh, he remembers. Oh yeah, every time I see him, best birthday party, A lot of good memories. The thing is back. So when Sheila was together with the building downtown above McIntyre's, everybody always says Barry's Place, but in reality, what happened is we found that, and as a band, we rented that whole upstairs for $230 or something like that a month, and we divided it up. So all the band members chipped in, including Barry, and then kind of things like, I think it was kind of after Shield kind of fell apart as far as I was concerned, and I moved. I think Barry then started living up there, and I know Jason lived up there and stuff. It stayed in the network for quite a while, that's for sure.
Yeah,
it was kind of cool that we had our own, because we started out, like I said, in a garage in the country and didn't have any place to jam without getting cops called. And then Jason Hance, if you knew him,
heard of that name.
He was with Erica, and they lived across from the old State Bank on above the what's now that bar uptown, Beaver's Den or whatever, the Foxhole, that's what it is. So up above there, dude, and we used to play in a room there, and half the time they couldn't afford their Silco bill and wouldn't have, whatever. It's just, we played up there, and then we found the McIntyre spot, so that was rad. But
yeah, that became after the years went by, it was an after hours spot for sure. Right
Oh,
downtown. So any
I can
given
remember coming home from Arizona and I'd go hit the bars and run into Joe and Jason or something,
sure.
and then go up there, and of course they'd be jamming and I'd be screaming my head off or whatever, and then I'd get on the plane and go back to Arizona. But it's definitely, I'm definitely proud of having done that and created an album that,
It's
you know,
I was playing it some of it earlier for Deb, and I think she might have missed out on that. She was going through her situation
sure.
back then, but
All her relatives were always at the shows. Absolutely, Ruth Ann.
Number two. But I went ahead and posted it. I hope the rest of the guys don't mind, man. But I just think it's music that should be heard with the kind of stuff that they're calling metal and rock these days. I just wanted to give people, a re-invitation to it because I think it's pretty incredible stuff. And like I said, if you guys would, if the stars would align for you guys to even make like one song or just do like a gig, maybe Jason Jones's 61st birthday party.
Yeah, man, he's on.
Or for Barry even, but why? Let me ask this. I gotta ask. I'm just curious. Like, what brought it to an end? Because I mean, the talent there, the potential, 4, 5, 6 albums. I mean, you guys could have easily carried into the 2000s.
Yeah. What I started seeing is, because I've always been a worker, and back then, even though I was a young partier, I had my shit together.
No.
I was a carpenter and I framed houses, and I got my ass up and went to work every day regardless. And, like Dan, Rafa, he supported a lot of my equipment, meaning he bought PAs and monitors and made sure that I had everything I needed because I didn't have the means to buy all that shit. And then you start walking into the studio and what happened to those 18-inch monitor speakers? And then you see them in a poncho. Just shit started going down where I think people were, I'm not going to, whatever, but it was people getting into some hardcore drugs that influence you to steal and shit like that, where I was always the kind of guy, I drank. What's that?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, and I was the kind of guy, I drank a lot. I'd smoke some weed. I'd do a line here and there, but I never got into like smoking coke and all that kind of crap. But, it happens, whatever. And that's kind of where I decided, this ain't for me. If you're not obviously not taking this very fucking serious. And the thing is, we had Roadrunner Records interested in us, and things were, and I'm like, I'm out. I'm out. And I just moved to Arizona, basically.
I mean, you probably got a lot of crap for that, but I mean, what was you supposed to do? Like if that's starting off, it doesn't get shut off that quickly just because somebody brings it to somebody's attention. I mean,
yeah, and I didn't even, what? I just kind of walked away. I saw what I saw. There was no point in saying anything because what are you going to, I'm not going to start a war over something that is not fixable.
I mean, I would hope all these years later, I just hope everybody that was in that band and whatever was going on all those years ago, I just hope that that's come to pass, and I hope everybody's doing good and can reflect on it.
I mean, except for Judd, he's just an old dude that's a rad dude, but he's not, he's not like on social media and everything. So you run into him kind of thing,
sure.
But yeah, I still communicate with Jason, Joe, Danny, Rafa, and I. He built a huge business with the draft beer installations and cleaning. I worked for him. He's one of my dear friends. He's my homie, and and I did recently connect with Jason. I just want to kind of keep an eye, and I don't mean it like I'm his dad, but I've always saw Jason and I as brothers, and I want him. I know he's had a history, but I want him to stay on a clean path, and so I can be, so I can be present, So we hung out last Saturday, had a good day. came back to my crib and just kind of looked at all my skateboard collection and my bikes, and we watched videos, listened to music, cooked a fucking frozen pizza, and drank a couple sodas just like we used to when we were in high school, and stuff like that.
Cool.
So it was a really cool day.
He's a great dude. He
doing more of that.
Sure. And he's lucky to have, somebody setting a decent example for him. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think that's very decent. As a friend, it's a little bit of an obligation just to keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully that sticks with them, because nobody can really do this alone without at least some support system. I mean,
sure.
No matter what it is, it starts at home for sure. But if you got a few friends that, support you, that could kind of also follow your lead a little bit, or be like, all right, he did this, so I can do it. Then you hear about somebody else, and it's like, it gains momentum that way. And if it's with real, authentic, genuine people, that's what matters the most too, because they see there's a lot of phoniness out there with like, oh, I've been clean and sober this long, and other people are like, I just seen that dude do somewhere. And, so it's like, as long as you just keep owning it, and people fall now and then, man, but if you just own it, pick your stuff up and keep moving, I think that provides the best results, and people see that, real recognize it's real. So I appreciate
it takes a village.
It does. I mean, we're damn near living in a small ass town as Lincoln, so it gets smaller every year, population wise. Man, thanks for taking us back down memory lane with that a little bit. Like I said, if there's any potential to get you guys back together, it would be awesome. If poor Judd couldn't make it, then I know Danny Thompson's out there, and he would be just fine with that. So,
he's done the gig before.
So I hope he got to hear that. He's probably like, God, be there, dude. So you're, in my opinion, a very positive, see the silver lining, look on the bright side type of guy. Who's some of your favorite motivators or sites that you may visit for some inspiration out there?
Like my biggest thing is like the Neville Goddard teachings, which I get through the Edward Art, which is on YouTube. I've shared that with you.
Yep.
It just has a whole different view on like God is within, like you pray out, but what, you go anyway. I won't get into all that, but if anybody would just Edward Art in any of his series, he's got one that's one of my favorites, Never Bar Self. That's a good one. There's a musician that it's pretty sacred to me through my little tribe that I have, but a musician named Trevor Hall. He's kind of folky. He's kind of like a Jack Johnson kind of. He writes all kinds of stuff, but super, super spiritual. I think I shared that one song with you, Without Expectation. If that song doesn't resonate with a former drinker or drug user, I don't know what to tell you. But that's one of my big things. And I mean, I really think that's like my biggest things right there, is just, I couldn't tell you how many times I've listened to the Edward Arts. It's called Edward Arts Supply Hands, the first series that's read by Lila. I've been listening to that just before I quit drinking, but I've been listening to it for like 4 years, and there's so much in that it takes a while to take it all in and understand. By no means is it anti-God or anything. It's just it resonated with me because I was raised going to church. I went to a Lutheran school. We had chapel every Wednesday. I was a God-fearing person up until I was like 30, and some things just didn't quite measure up to me anymore because I have my own way of thinking, or I have my own mind. So if there's people out there that are there on that, because I know there's a lot of people that are there that are kind of like, well, I don't know now. I mean, what that to me fixed everything where it all makes sense to me, to where, however you want to say it, like the church has twisted it around a little bit to kind of put them in control and to install fear and make people behave in a certain way and not have their own damn mind.
No, I agree with you. Yeah,
but it's just all good with me. That's just my thing. That's my church. That's my Edward Art. And the guy's, he's badass, you know.
Yeah, I only, everything you spent that night. I liked it. I listened to the whole thing. There was nothing anti-God or negative. I mean, it had to do with that. It was very. He
quotes the Bible and everything. I mean,
it's very inward looking. Like if you ain't, for me, if I'm not willing to look at myself and why I am the way I am, and here, then I don't know how anything out there is going to really make that much of a difference. I mean, I got to do some self, analyzation. We got to take some accountability. It's not just help me all the time and then leave things that I don't want you to mess with alone. It's not, I mean, you got to like inwardly bow a little bit before you lift your hands, and so to speak. But yeah,
one of the best things that he says is at the end of chapter 14 in that first series. It's 13 or 14, and it's only a couple seconds long. And he literally says, if you take anything from all 30 some chapters of this, this is what you need to know. Never hesitate to give yourself the greatest feelings and imaginings.
Yeah, nothing wrong.
Think about that. It is and kind of how it gets to be when you're like, God is in me and I am God.
Yeah.
So it is a sin, or I'm using it's like a false God. If I'm sitting here worrying about all this shit, now I'm sinning against myself instead of giving myself. We all have that ability to create everything. Everything in our mind is us. So you change that. You're like, no, we're not going to do this because now I'm dissing myself. I'm going to give myself good feelings, good imaginings. I'm going to turn this around. I'm in a shitty mood. And sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes I can't get myself out of it. But I'm just saying that makes more sense to me. It just does. And that's just how I am. I mean, I know for a fact versus praying, now I did this to inside myself, and I know that change already happened. And now I'm not disrespecting the I am. And that's how I believe. So
I get that. And it says we're made in his image. And I don't know too many stories about where, since we're made in his image, God, I don't remember too many stories hearing about him doubting himself or sitting around thinking negatively all the time. I mean, he's the solution for a lot of stuff, but that has to come inside. If you ain't willing to look inside, I don't know.
Made in his form.
Yeah, I mean, and I absolutely understand that. And I think it can be very beneficial and maybe even lead somebody further down. If you don't have an authentic, real relationship with Christ, I don't know what you're doing anyway. There's plenty of people that'll look at me and what I say and how I live and be like, oh, that's not really Christian. I'm like, that's fine with me because I don't really say I'm a Christian or religious. I'm just following Christ and following these very awesome principles known as the red letter in the Bible. And it's helped my life tremendously over 2 years. I fundamentally changed in many ways, and I desire to keep doing that.
Right.
Willingly. The biggest word for me is willingly. Like if I got to face some crap that I've done in the past, well, then I'm going to have to face that. But I don't have to think that I had to do it on my own, because every time I've done it on my own, I've ran from it. So I'm like, okay, if I got to pray, that's what I got to do, because I mean it. And if I get help with it, great. If I got to face my consequences, then I'll get through those too. I mean, that's just how I look at it these days. I don't fear anything I've done, and I don't fear anything that's going to happen. It just doesn't. All it does is rob you of today.
Yeah.
And I've lost way too much time for that. So.
And it doesn't matter. And I, by no means, any Christians on here and stuff.
No,
I am not being disrespectful.
I don't take it that. I don't take it that way. I just want.
It's just my way of viewing Christianity or religion.
I mean, I see that a lot. I mean, modern day churches and religion has kind of boxed all of it in. I don't like that. That's not what I'm into.
Yeah. What gets me is like my sister years ago, she used to go to a church in Bloomington out on Rab Road, and it's like the size of the Metrodome. And they got the ball bouncing on the words and all that. And I'm like, oh, I'm out. Take me to, I don't know. If I'm going to go to church, take me to the old school boring one.
Yeah.
Where the guy's yelling at you.
Less is more for me. I I don't need the pyrotechnics. I don't need smoke machines. I don't need it to look like a rave. I don't need none of that. Just give me somebody who's just, passionate, honest, and just reading the gospel. That's good enough for me.
I think there's a lot of people that really could get some use out of the Righteous Gemstones movie. I know it's totally extreme, but
I've started watching that. You gotta. I can't say that on here, but there's
it's not that far out of context.
No, it's pretty. It's funny as heck, and there's a lot of satire, but you can see how that's really being used, especially in mega churches. But there's a few too many scenes where I just like, I can't watch this, but I might go back. You know what ones I'm talking about? Like these fellas just having a good old time, as best as I can put it. I'm like, I don't need to see that. But it seems like every show has to have something like that in there. But I'm going down a road I don't want to go down.
I get it.
I got two questions. I'm going to put these together. What's been the biggest lesson you've learned this last year? I mean, we got 3 days, and gain or lose any friends over this whole thing?
I would definitely say gain because I'd say gain because I ended up through this. I had to go out and find other jobs, and I met a lot of cool people through that. Teamed up with a brother to do the Brad Brandt to do the school bus thing, and it's kind of cool because I'm working with one of my childhood friends' sisters, the principal or the superintendent of the school. Her husband is Tom Irwin, who I grew up with. I was best friend with her brother. He drives a bus too. It kind of brought those people back in, and they're all good people. I'm never the kind of person that makes big time friendships at work, but like even at FedEx, it's a good company to work for. Got some good supervisors, some dudes that know how to work and get shit done, which is a good environment to be in. And like reacquainted with Mike Livingston. I never was friends with him. He grew up in my neighborhood. Jason was kind of friends with him. He works with me, and we make a hell of a team. We kick ass at work, things like that. And as far as change in my lifestyle, I haven't really lost any of my old friends because, quite frankly, since I've been back in Illinois, I've been a single dad. Yeah, I've had help with, girlfriends, and now I have my fiance Amber with my son, but I was always just home. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get out much. You know what I mean? So I didn't lose some big social scene or nothing like that. I'm content with where I'm at,
Just making trips to the guest house now and then, which was cool to see you coming out of last week.
Oh yeah, I was at small town.
We're not going out much.
No coffee, so I went to small town to get some Christmas gifts.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and I dropped she's selling my stickers up there, so
that's where I got one. That was my next question.
Oh, you bought one? Thanks, bro.
Yeah. Tell us about the Zero Ducks off-road. What's all that about?
That's it's for fun, and I know it probably offends a lot of people, but I don't give a shit. I just think ducks are stupid. But what it stems from, and it's your Jeep, do whatever you want. I mean, don't get me wrong. But it stems from, once again, living in Phoenix in the desert, having homies that are professional extreme rock crawlers that actually teach rock crawling, and you've been in some of the most gnarly Jeep trails and canyons and stuff imaginable. Like all these people in the Midwest, they're buying these Jeeps, right? And they'll probably never have them in 4-wheel drive, and they don't know what the fuck they can actually do, but they're filling them with these ducks. And it's like, I honestly think that they're like, man, I love these little duckies, but I don't have a Jeep. I'm going to go buy a $50,000 Jeep so then I can have my ducks. I mean, it's that corny to me, But what's funny is, like, even before the duck craze, I sold Jeeps out at Chrysler and Lincoln. And my son, when he was like 13 or 14, he goes, "Hey, Dad." I go, "What?" He goes, "The Jeep was originally created like in 1941. I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "And it was a badass military World War II vehicle." And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, well, now it's just a vehicle for rich white chicks. And I'm like, yeah. So for the longest time, I've had this Zero Duck image with the exact logo that I got. And of course, being a drinker and all that, it never came into fruition. So last year in the middle of summer, or this year in the middle of summer, I said to my friend Jake Hazley, I'm like, dude, help me get the legalities or whatever. And I got to get this going because it's picking up traction on social media of people making fun of it and all this stuff. And I want to get my foot in the door with my name before somebody, because it's pretty simple, Zero Ducks. Before somebody cops onto it and steals my idea, then I'm going to be all kinds of upset. So we got it going on. And you know, I think we finally got our shirts. Jake and I got our first shirts, and they were just the logo T-shirts towards the end of July. So let's say the company's been happening since like July. And there's a lot of growing pains. It's been kind of slow going, but it's growing every day. And I've got a lot of people. I have a TikTok shop, but I suck at running it. So I put the link in the bio. I've got a lot of people. One guy in particular buys my stuff, always creates badass videos with my products, doesn't ask for anything. He just loves my designs, and he loves ducks. I mean, he's got, you know, and that's fine. And, you know, it was just something to me that was like a niche. And I thought it was kind of genius to take it in the opposite and be that guy that calls it out and makes fun of it. That's all. You know, and I know a lot of people in this day and age, they can't take that. You know, Generation X, when we grew up, comedians and everything were a whole lot different.
That's true.
There's no filter. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And at times I think, well, you know what? I could make this like all Jeep friendly and make it like ZDOR, which is my acronym, Outfitters, and make all kinds of shirts, which I might do that because financially that'd be a good move. But by no means do I want to promote ducks. It's just so hokey to me. It drives me bananas. But you know, to each their own.
Oh man.
If you watch any of my TikToks and stuff, I'll drive around Lincoln and if I see Jeeps, I'll leave them a sticker and maybe a koozie, you know. And if they, you know, even if they got ducks or not, especially if they got ducks, I mean, you'll see these things. It's like, Jesus Christ, does your defroster even work? You know, but I don't stick them on the cars, put them on the windshield wiper. They probably throw them away, but either way, that name's getting out there.
Let's hope this Ducks Against Chad movement doesn't happen, because then you'll just have to roll with that, and then just,
hey, that's fine.
Like East Coast, West Coast,
right? Gangster shit, but yeah. It's just something fun. And I mentioned my friend Rick Norman out in Arizona. His nickname's Woody. And then his homie Russell, his nickname's Spicoli. A lot of my friends came to visit from Illinois, and I'd always take them out with them to where you have to get in the 5-point harness because you are rolling. You know. Anyway, I created, if you go on my website, there's T-shirts with them in the old days. They're all old now and kind of retired because they got broken backs and whatever. But they're doing these gnarly, like Russell's Jeep's on his side and he's flipping it off, but it says Zero Ducks Off-Road, and those pictures say it all. These guys ain't fucking around with ducks. Not to mention the ducks ain't staying in that rig when you're rolling down a mountain. You know, and when I called Rick when I finally got everything put together, I said, Rick, can I have your permission? I mean, I'll give you some proceeds off the products, but I started this company called Zero Ducks, and I want to use some of your images off-road or whatever. He's like, bro, I don't want no money. I got plenty of money. Boom, boom, boom. He starts sending me hundreds of pictures of off-road gnarly shit. He's like, do it, bro. He goes, and send me some stickers. I'm going to start sticking them on Jeeps with the ducks. And, you know, I mean, with the real off-road people, they hate it too. So that's the market I'm targeting. You know, it's kind of like in skateboarding. You had your posers, and then you had your guys that really went out and skated. You know, they got a board for Christmas and fell down on the driveway, and that was it.
Yeah.
Versus the guy that I've killed myself.
They just put it in the closet and never touch it again.
Right. Yeah,
I think that's very cool. It'll just keep doing its thing, and on TikTok especially, those it becomes very trendy, and like curiosity gets the best of people and stuff. So just
But
keep doing what you're doing with that.
there's a lot, and I just friend every Jeep person I see.
Sure.
And there is a lot of people that they are, like I said, the one dude, he's a Jeeper. He loves ducks, but he loves the designs and he gets it. And he's just a good human. He's like, fuck yeah, I'm buying those. And I mean, the minute I come out with something, he's ordering it.
Very cool.
You know, and there's a lot of people out there, I think, you know, that get it. You're not going to find it. You know, it's going to be strangers, bro. It's not going to be all your homies in this little community we live in. I've learned that in business a long time ago. It's out there though. The problem is people start it and then they don't see this overnight thing. And believe me, I've been discouraged with it, but I ain't gonna stop, because that's when there's a book called oh shit. Anyway.
Just keep with it. I mean, it's something fun to do. I mean, it's connected with people. So, I mean, you know, there's no reason to just see where it goes. That if you can put the instant gratification, you know, aside, just let it breathe, and it'll you know, catch a life of its own eventually. It already is. So
yeah, and one thing I just do, like, I go on there and my TikTok, as you see, I mean, it's not all about zero ducks. No. I mean, I'm all over the place. You know, like, hey, you know, whatever. People get to know you or whatever.
Yeah, and just be yourself. That's what people really look for, is just authenticity, I think, these days, more than lights and bells and whistles and stuff like that. So the more you are you, the more things take care of themselves. Let me ask you this. Getting back to this town, what do you think Lincoln itself needs that would what would you bring to it or open up in this town that people could enjoy and benefit from, especially the youth?
Well, I mean, it's a tough, I know plenty of things, but as a trend in Lincoln, I think what we see is people want things, then we get it, then they don't support it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And I mean, because people are assholes. It's just, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's just so, I want a steakhouse. Why? You ain't going to go eat there. You're going to bitch about the price. You're going to say there's no parking. You know, it's like that shit. But anyway, what I'm working on right now, and I'll put it this way, because this is one of them things where people are just going to have to fall in place. I've already talked to a lot of kids on the bus, the little kids on my school bus. I'm like, how many of you kids like skateboarding? Do you own a skateboard? Yeah, I kind of like it. Do you? Because let's face it, I know Lincoln is basketball, and that's great. But how many, you know, they cram back. If it's basketball, they'll throw money at it all day long. But my thing is, I'm going to start slow. This spring, I'm planning on putting together just a little event where the kids come out. I'll bring every damn skateboard I've got. They can try it out. They can bring their own, just on a flat parking lot. Think about getting with like Joe Ryan. He owns the Copper and Oak and Metal Cream, friend of mine. With nice, smooth blacktop parking lot. Just do a little event and see how these kids react to it and how many people show interest, you know. So then take it from there. We had a skate park at the rec, and it was woodward ramps. They put it together while I wasn't around here. I remember how they had it organized was shit, but those ramps were legit. And my son and I, about 9 years ago or so, went out there to go skate, and it was all gone.
Yeah.
And Seth Goodman was the mayor, and I texted him. I said, bro, what happened to the skate park? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I've emailed the rec, and they, you know, nobody will cough up what happened to these ramps because they're not cheap. So anyway, long story short, we're just going to take baby steps. I want to see how the community, as far as the kids react to it. You got the obstacle when it comes down to that is mom's going to want to run to Walmart and buy a Spider-Man skateboard, and they suck. So it's hard to get into a sport like that when you got a piece of shit skateboard. Same with the bike.
Those are hard. If you try to learn off one of those ones from Walmart, you're going to fall, get discouraged, and not ever probably pick it back up.
I mean, it's not that
they're not good to learn from. They're good to they look cool to carry around when you're maybe 10, but
yeah,
if you really
to appease the kid get it for the kid that's never going to pick it up anyway.
Yeah.
And there's some of them you can probably get you by for a little bit, but you're looking at anymore. Skateboarding's gotten a little more expensive, but you're a good $125 for a setup for a kid, But then in the same breath, you got the kids that play Lincoln Heat and their baseball bats are $800.
True.
If I asked my dad for an $800 baseball bat, he would have hit me with it.
How many years are they going to use those? And
yeah, exactly. They grow out of them, whatever. But it's just here again. Now you're looking into the common interest and the natural market of what you have in Lincoln.
Well, I'll tell you an example. You might remember, but this was probably maybe 7 years ago now, maybe 8. I bought a longboard from you for my stepson.
That was my company. I made that board,
and he had that. I think up until maybe a year ago. I think it got lost or just worn out. I'm not sure, but he was always used to kind of losing stuff. So for him to have that for so long, and he rode it all over this town. It was really cool. I think it was still the best gift I'd gotten him if he would cop to that. But so
that was my personal
too, but they didn't last.
That was a company I did. I lived in Jackson Hole, Wyoming for a summer in 2003, which is God's country. And I actually lived in a house on the mountain in the village, the ski resort village, during the summer. So I started making those longboards and all the snowboarder dudes were buying them up. So I was making them and bartering them for stuff. Like I bought a mountain bike with a couple longboards and stuff. So I called it Nobody Longboards, and that was my thing. Actually, the board I just gave Allsbrook was one of my Nobody longboards, but it was just something I was doing while I was living up there. I was doing all the finish and hard millwork inside the Four Seasons Resort. It was a massive project, but we had weekends off, so I was doing that. So
you got a ton of stuff to look forward to in 2026.
Yeah,
Chad. Three more days, you'll have a full year. I mean, hitting like a full 365. You think that day will be anything extra special, or you just keep doing what you've been doing for 362?
I think, it's going to be special to me. It's a definite milestone, but I think you got to keep it in the back of your head too, that you don't want it to be where, okay, so now we're 1 year and 1 day.
Yeah. That was my next question is like,
so, you got to, don't let it change. Keep that momentum and that. And the thing is like, what I'd like to point out before I forget, like as I reflect on 2025 and all the horse shit I went through, is that's life. Okay. Your dumb ass was just sober while you had to deal with it this time. So as what happened is, so through all this stuff, the turmoil, now you're sober, the depression, the anxiety, the, learning to know yourself and how to even function or what to do sober or whatever. It forced me I applied at FedEx. I didn't want that job no more than the man on the moon. I didn't even want him to fucking call me. Are you kidding me? So I got the job. I ended up liking it. And I've always drove forklifts, like in construction, but I've never been forklift certified. So I got that, right? Then Brad Brandt gets a hold of me. He's like, dude, I'm doing this fucking school bus thing. So I ended up getting my foot in the door with Brad at Chester East. I mean, they hired us like no problem, paid for all of our shit. So I made $30 an hour the whole time I was training, going to Springfield, going to doing all these things to get my CDL. So I made $30 an hour to get a CDL to continue. And now I got a CDL. So my point is, I really am grateful for all the blessings that are involved. And another thing that was mentioned, it was in one of my posts on Facebook regarding my little dog that I lost. That hurt like a son of a bitch. And of course, I would love to have him back. But that little dude gave his life so I could have another awakening. It's strange. Oddly enough, I hate that it happened. The horror of running over your own dog and getting out of the Jeep and seeing him laying there like, what the fuck, Dad? And put him in the car and on the Jeep, and then he dies on the way home. That's horrible and all that. But that afternoon was very sad, and I had to tell my fiance, and I had to tell my son and my mom, and everybody came together, and my fiance's dad, Bobby T, known him forever. We took him out to the house, their house in the country where they have the pet cemetery. Long story short is it kind of slowed everybody down, and that little dog passing brought everybody together, and it makes you realize what you have and how quickly it can be taken away. And, so everybody, it took all of us to get us through that, because yeah, he was my dog first and my son's dog first, but that was Amber's little buddy too, man. And I mean, it was a rough gig. Everybody knows how it is when you lose a dog. And as far as me, I actually am the one that killed the dog. I ran it over, but I was like, I'm not going to let myself, I'm not going to blame myself for this and beat myself up for this. Shit happens. It was an accident. That dog knows damn good and well I didn't run him over on purpose. He had the best damn life. So anyway, what happened is then I stopped getting on. I always do something where I kind of do an afternoon smack, and I just talk crap for a few minutes on social media and vent and whatnot. And I hadn't done it in a couple of days. And then on TikTok, I saw Gary V, who's an inspirational speaker. He's an entrepreneur. And he basically said, fuck the lighting, fuck, this, that, get on there and get on social media live and say, look, motherfuckers, I'm back. And that's exactly what I did. You can go on my TikTok or my Facebook, scroll down to about a month ago and find that, because I did it verbatim. And that's powerful to me. Those are the kind of things that get me through the every day, and no matter what's happening, is just trying to keep my attention on the people that are out there that got something positive to say, and to help you in every way possible.
I like that, man. Do you feel, if this isn't asked right, just clean it up for me, but coming through this year and after everything, the shit show that happened this year, and especially with the dog and all this, do you feel, because you mentioned a while ago, like almost kind of like 18 again and how I was back then, do you feel more complete and whole and, a sense of like this new self-control that you have?
It feels good to be reacquainted with my, I guess I should say, inner child and the real Chad Lohrenz and create the things that I am. So yeah, that's fucking badass. And that's the best high I've ever had in my life right now. And yeah. One other thing I didn't mention is, let's see, at the end of 2023, I was managing Old Joe's. I've always been in the energy business, and I started helping one of my buddies out sell solar. He ended up moving from Chicago down here because of me, because of overwhelming him with business. He and the wife liked it down here. They moved down here. He paid me at the end of 2023 around $25,000 just for the leads that I had given him. You know what I'm saying? So I went, basically at that point, I quit Old Joe's and I went strictly into solar. And in 2024, I made amazing money. And then into last year, it went to shit. And that's why I'm where I'm at now. But one of the things that happened, I don't know if I mentioned this, just it popped in my head. One of the other things I had to overcome is when I got that money, and then I made plenty of money after that. But a friend of mine who I sold cars for, he was my general manager, Scott Sebbing. His grandpa had a 52 Chevy Bel Air Deluxe that was in mint condition, local car. It was green. I called it the pickle. It only had 63,000 miles on it and 74 years old. It was my baby. But through all the bullshit and having to take care of it, I had to sell it. And you want to talk about the equivalent of putting a fucking dog down is selling your dream car. You never, ever, ever had in my life thought I would ever actually be able to have a hot rod like that. Badass car. So I ended up having to sell it. Dude from California went to a badass home, but I had to literally back it out of the driveway that day and load it onto a fucking trailer. And when I did that, of course, I had to rip it down the street and bust a U-turn. And it took all the strength in the world to sell that car. But
Man.
guess what? At the end of the day, it's a fucking thing, man.
That's true. I mean,
I tell you what, if I still had that car and the universe said, "Hey, give me that car and I'll give you Jerry Lee back," what do you think I'd fucking do? Take this fucking car. That car don't mean shit. So I guess when we go through shit, we tend to want to feel sorry for ourselves and all that. But none of that material shit matters. And guess what? I didn't have any business buying that fucking car to begin with.
I was about to ask you that. I was like, yeah,
Once again,
was it a want or an investment?
Yeah.
Or, if it was something that you plan on making more money off of eventually, I mean, I'm sure it's going to like increase over time, but
at the time I thought I was good to go, but
yeah,
and it's like, well, business doesn't always stay clicking. Whatever shit happens.
Yeah,
That's gone too, but whatever.
I mean, you've been through a lot of humbling moments, though, man, right?
Yep.
But I mean, you don't sit there looking like you got any regrets. I mean, it's just life happens. You wanted a car. Oh, you're not unique or a bad person for that. You just kind of at the end of it was like, what the hell?
And the thing is like, yeah, I've had my regrets and remorse about all this stuff, but
sure,
that's part of getting better is learning how to just deal with that and realize that that's not the way to be.
What's important to you these days? Like really matters to you at the end of the day?
Just, to be honest with you, getting through the day with just maintaining an upbeat mood, and regardless of what's happening or how much money's in my checking account, which is not easy to do. I struggle with that. Just trying to keep that positive mindset and my thoughts positive, because that's, if you sit around and worry about a bill coming in the mail, guess what? A bill's going to come in the mail. So just reverse that. Sit around and worry about $10 million showing up in your bank account or whatever. That's one of my big things. And obviously one of my things, I hate resolutions and shit. I'm not going to get into that, but one of the things I want to change is, I saw my fiance post today about game nights, less screen time. I even told her I fixed up that guitar. I want to start spending more time reading books, screwing around on a guitar.
There you go.
Skateboards, build skateboard. I've got 1,000,001 projects I need to do. Just keeping that deal in motion. I get, if that makes sense.
It does, man. And there's a lot to look forward to in 2026. I mean, I'm excited about it myself. This has been exciting, bro. It really has. I hope that in the next year, we could possibly collab more on something, do some more stuff like this. I know
Absolutely.
Newton and his success this last year or so.
Yep.
Things are really starting to turn, and I really like to see that and be on this side of it. Turning that page and closing that book on a lot of that old past. I just have more fun on this side. I mean, finally getting to talk and sit down and talk with you after 30 years.
Right.
And because we both stopped doing something we shouldn't have been doing as long as we did, it's kind of amazing to me.
And I mean, there's other guys out there that have been on this longer than us that were near and dear to us. Well, you had Tracy Wright. That was awesome to see him. We were just talking about him. But his brother Mike, he quit a long time ago. I mean, it's 4 years, whatever, 5 years he hasn't drank, Mike, right?
Yeah.
Michael Allers. It's been, 20 for him. My best friend, my brother Jake Hazley, 20 some years. And now he's he's studying to be a yoga master and Reiki master, and just he just bombed, just killed. Very positive person to speak with.
There's I don't know if you know, but I mean, continuing with that, like Billy Baker, he did it on the spot just like this with me a few months ago. And he's in Springfield now living, but pretty well known around this
Tattoo
town.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if Deb could put it in here, what's his name that did one around that same time? I can't think of his dang name, but everybody knows him from
John
Coda.
Mortz.
Deb might put it in the comments, but I mean, if it's people that's, partied and drank and did whatever in town for so long, then they just finally got out of it, turned their life around, or sober and clean. And the more people that could get their stories out there like that just might reach the next one. And I just think it's important, and for people to be sharing those stories with me, I mean, it's very humbling. So I look forward to talking to more.
Yeah. And now that I mentioned that, I kind of feel like a jerk for not saying that earlier, because Jake Hazley is really and truly my brother, and I love him to death, and we've been friends for eons. And I leaned on him big time, and he checked on me 2 or 3 times a week, because he knew at what level I was at and what I gave up, and he'd already gone through it. And it was 20 years ago, but a person ain't ever going to forget. And I'm telling you what, I'm sure this is my concept, and I know there's a lot of it, but the number one reason why I never drink again is because what I just went through last January, February, March, and to be honest with you, probably up until about a month ago, I wouldn't survive that again. I'd take my own life. I mean, that's how hardcore it is. There's a lot of times throughout that process that, frankly, if it wasn't for my mom's still alive, I have a son, I have dogs, I have a fiance. If those things didn't exist, fuck.
Wow.
I would have jumped off a building. I mean, that's how,
No, I believe you're being transparent.
I'm just being for real.
Yeah.
Because it's that goddamn ugly, and that's why we need to be here to help these people, so they can stick with it.
I mean,
it's easy for some people that have never had a problem to be like, well, just fucking quit.
Yeah.
Or the son bitch went drinking again. Well, at least he didn't kill himself.
That's true.
But the odd thing was, dude, no matter how depressed I was I just remember the anxiety and the weight on my chest and just all the things. I still wasn't going to let myself drink. And it didn't take me very long to not be like, oh, it's Friday, this is going to suck. That it's just the shit that you drank for that's the problem, but it's weird. I would always be like, yeah, but I don't want to do that. See, that's the thing. I'm not doing that. So get that out of your fucking head,
Yeah, I mean, it didn't take that long to break the routines. Like,
right.
4:30's coming. You know what you always do at a certain day, certain time.
I bought a 6-pack of, I was a Coors Light guy. I bought a 6-pack of the Coors fucking non-alcoholic shit, which to me is stupid anyway. It's a waste of money. But at the time, I was like, well, it's Saturday night. And this was like last January, February, whatever. There's still 1 bottle left. I bought a 12-pack of the Budweiser Zero. There's probably 10 of those in the garage that have been there for 10, 11 months because I don't know. To me, it's dumb. You're still paying the full price for a beer that isn't even a fucking beer. And it's just dumb. I'd rather drink a Coke. Because I don't need that. Like if I'm at a gathering and everybody's hammering beers, I don't have a problem standing there with a Coke.
Yeah.
And I get the idea of, now I can go and socialize, and I'm going to stand around and drink 12 fucking non-alcoholic beers. No,
but that's phony, Chad. It's still a phony. Like you're not. For me personally, I'll say
it's kind of like this vape and cigarettes. I guess.
Well, I vape too on that in that sense. But I mean, if you still need to like get a non-alcoholic beer to hang out somewhere, something's not all the way there as it needs to be. Like just say, look, I like you people. I'm drinking iced tea or a milkshake or something. To keep drinking the stuff that tastes like the real thing, chances are you're gonna have a real bad day and turn that 0% into like a 6 or 7. I don't see the point in it. For me, it's still somebody who is kind of wanting to do that. But if you're hanging around the scene just to fit in and you got to drink a non-alcoholic beer, you got some work to do. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion.
And you know, and if Jake's on here watching, no offense, because when I was still drinking and he was coming here in between his move back to Illinois and we were hanging out all the time, I was drinking. So he was drinking his NAs, you know, and that was cool though. As a drinker, it was kind of cool that your buddy was able to sit there and do his thing. And I'm not knocking it by any means. It was just because, you know, I thought back, well, Jake used to just hang out and have some NAs, you know, so that'll be like my Saturday thing. I could have some NAs or whatever. But just for me, it just kind of was like, this is dumb. Because now I'm back to doing, I'm going to go, it's not any cheaper. It's the same price as beer.
Yeah.
You know, you're already broke. What are you doing?
I mean, to each their own in the long run, but like, you know, if you move out of a town to a different town, eventually you're going to have to stop thinking of that old town. Just get it away from you. But I mean, if he's maintaining himself and doing well, more power to him.
He doesn't even do it anymore. He gave up. Yeah. He doesn't do that or vape or anything now.
Now you say it's funny.
He's doing awesome. Yeah, he's
amazing. I don't have a resolution, but I swear, closer and closer to being nick-free, cigarette-free, vape-free. I still choose to vape. I mean, I don't have no problems admitting that. Some people will say I'm less of a Christian because I vape. I'm like, I'm not sinning in secret. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I mean, some people don't like me for doing that or whatever. But man, I don't worry about none of that stuff. I know what's really happening.
No permission needed.
But yeah, I know, like, just physically, that's something I'm gonna.
Jake was like, dude, because he was like, I'm gonna quit vaping. It was like a year ago, and he said it wasn't that hard. And he was like me, just constantly.
Yeah.
But he also started training because they did this like 4-day hike through the Grand Canyon. That, I mean, you got to be an Iron Man to get through, you know. And he's 52 years old, and he did that. He kicked its ass. It's amazing.
I gotta say,
hey, one thing I was going to say though, back to the like drinking the NAs and stuff. My biggest thing was when I first quit drinking. Also, I took a job delivering for Peggy's place, 11 to 1. And it was super. It wasn't all that busy. I wasn't making that much money. And then you'd have these more high-profile friends that see you in a different light, and you're in there working, you know, for nothing, you know. And that, but whatever. I'm doing what I got to do to take care of my family.
Yeah.
But I just remember those times, and there was another woman that worked in there that was just awful. She just gave me the most horrible anxiety. We won't go there. But dude, did you ever drink like millions of? I mean, I drink a lot of water, but when I was first getting sober, dude, I would drink like 50 gallons of water. I'd get to Peggy's place at 11, and I would have to pee like every 15 minutes. I'm like, shit, they probably think I'm drinking beer now. I don't know what it is about water, but
I mean, it's just flushing your system out. I mean, I'm thinking if you're regularly drinking, I mean, your kidneys and liver, kidneys especially, are feeling like, okay, here comes the alcohol all the time. So now, like, you got to be more thirsty, I think, because you're not drinking water as much as you're drinking beer. So you got to like switch it out with something. But
right.
It's your system's getting cleaned out. You're flushing your system.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. When I was sober during the day, I mean, I lived in the desert a long time, and I got used to it. I was just a habit drinking tons of water.
No.
But man, I'd get up in the morning and I'd be so anxious. I'm just, you know, it was like
now he's addicted to water.
Yeah, right. It was like
you gotta get your own bottled water.
Sucking down Camel Lights back in the 90s.
I just wanted to say right quick, this might get you to laugh. My wife's hilarious. She says about the zero alcohol percentage. She said that's as dumb as cokeless crack.
Right. They probably make it.
Oh my gosh. I'm surprised they haven't figured a way out to do that yet. But Man, that's all the questions I got for you, Chad. This has been awesome. What else you want to say? You want to just give a shout out to some people, some words of encouragement? This is the last on the spot for me, anyway, of 2025. I mean, what an honor to finish out with, a local legend. I'll just say it. And, somebody I've been wanting to talk to for quite a long time. I appreciate you sharing your story with us.
I'll just close with saying that, all my family, my friends, my fiance, my son, my dogs, my dogs are great healers as well. Especially my mom, all her support, just everything and everybody that, quite frankly, probably, putting up with me during all this wasn't an easy task. Not that I got super nasty, but watching a guy walk around like, boo, and stuff like that. Looking forward to 2026. I'm a Sagittarius, and we're going to have an amazing year this year. I have so many ideas and so many things cooking through my brain, and I'm just going to hit the ground running. And the beauty of it is I'm coming into this year knowing that I don't have to fight. I don't have to go through what I went through last year. So I'm booking in at a clean slate, nice, refreshed and healed and ready to rock and roll.
Wow, I love that, man. I mean, I don't want to make it sound a little bit extra weird, but 72 hours, a full year. If we don't, I'll probably hit you up that day just to give you, celebrations, at least over the phone or something, man. But God willing, 3 more days, a full year, 365. Let that sit in. Give yourself a little extra credit that day. You deserved it. You put in the work. You've done it the hard way, as a lot of people will say. No meetings, no 12 steps, no nothing. What I respect almost more than anything is you're one of the people that are just like, I don't want to do it no more. I know I'm done. I don't need anybody else to tell me I'm done. And you went through it. You faced some tough life situations along the road that tested that. Because that would have showed you, if you would have been like, the dog situation. 99 people out of 100 probably would have been like, well, I'll get back on the wagon tomorrow. I'm going to go have me a damn beer. I just lost my dog.
I've had friends say, well, a real good friend of mine that still drinks, he's like, man, I wish we could just have a beer for Jerry. And I said, it ain't happening, dude.
Right. He's sincere. There's nothing wrong with him saying that. That's
I got what he meant. He didn't mean it like in a twisted, like he's trying to get me to drink again. I totally got what he meant.
Yeah.
I felt it. But that's how, dedicated I am. But I don't want to leave out, I mentioned my family and everything, but, my non-blood, man, is, again, Jake Hazley, Nikki Chapman, amazing people. Nikki Chapman does yoga and Reiki, and I connected Jake and her together when he was going through some stuff. They fell in love, and they're together, and pretty amazing story there. And now, Jake has gotten into her deal, and he's also doing yoga and Reiki, and he's just really had a huge transformation on top of, just spiritually. He was already sober, but he's a majorly changed person as well. And I lean on him a lot.
He's healthy, positive, mentally, spiritually, all that stuff.
And he'll call you out too if I have something stupid on Facebook. He's like, bro, that's fucking cringe, dude. And hey, accountability.
I get it. It's good to have those kind of people in your life, man. And I just hope that circle, your network of positive people that just want to go in a little bit different direction than where they've been the last few years or several years. Don't be afraid to lead the way. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep sharing your story. I'm sure there's way more to it that we didn't get into, but hopefully I made a friend and a brother. I'll be doing my thing. Anything I can help you out with, and vice versa. Don't hesitate to hit me up, and I can't wait to walk into 2026 with you. It's been pretty cool. Finally got to talk to you after so long, man. And like I said, keep putting it in Jason's ears about man, we would pick up, we can play some old songs and shoot, man. Jason's pretty creative, and when he's motivated, you never know. So
he's been
leave that door open. And like I said, just call Danny, and you'll be good to go.
Oh yeah.
Might be
Yeah,
huffing
and we can do this. Hey, we can do this again soon. I'd be more than willing to do this again soon and just kind of recap and see where we're at. And
yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we can bring somebody else on or whatever. We'll work.
Yeah, we know Bo always likes to talk, so he wanted to get on to do this with us too and everything. But we do some shows now and then where we want to invite people to come on that's just guests and stuff. So we got to get more consistent about that. But he works a lot. He's always getting tattoos or something, so he don't ever have the time.
That's good. I saw he was on the beach today.
Yeah. He's living a good life. He deserves it.
We'll be feeding penguins tomorrow.
Yeah. 70 to
0 penguins.
Man, I appreciate it. This has been Chad Lohrenz, everybody. And we want to thank him for doing this. Give my best to the family, man, and everything. And bundle up in the morning when you head out.
Yes, sir.
Chad Lohrenz.
Actually, no school bus tomorrow. So I'll be at FedEx at night, though.
Oh, okay.
Cover all.
You'll be bundled up.
Yeah.
Chad, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Everybody.
See ya.
Later.